There we go. Now do we have sound? We should. Hang on, let me crank myself up a bit. There. And music. We got sound, guys. Hopefully that's not too loud for music. That is really annoying. Procaster, the livestream Procaster, it used to be where it would, you know, go behind other things, but now it's like on top of everything permanently. So it makes it really hard to view windows and shit without minimizing. I'm just linking people and then I'm gonna start. Yes, it is. It's the new album. Came out 2 weeks ago. It's pretty damn great. I love it. Okay, so we wanted to go over perspective. Okay, so, should I start with perspective, like, atmospheric perspective with, like, you know, objects? Or should I start with, like, foreshortening on, like, the body, the form of a pony or not? I'm not sure which to start with. Okay. Well, crash course then. And if you are using Psi, this is Psi's biggest disadvantage, that it does not allow you to do a perfectly a line that's locked. Like Photoshop will lock your lines at 90 and 45 degree increments if you hold shift. Psi unfortunately does not do that, so you're gonna have to either import something, or you're gonna have to eyeball it as best as you can. But what I usually do is I go to Google Images, and I just look up a grid, and I just, you know, grab a fairly large looking grid, and copy it, paste it in here. Doesn't matter if you resize it up or not, because it's just a grid for reference, and it doesn't need to be. It's gonna look shitty when you size it up, but it doesn't matter. It is time for perspective. One thing I would recommend is using line work layers, because line work layers are right here. This little icon. That's Psi's version of vectors, essentially, and that allows you to actually use a line tool. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make a new one, and we're gonna call this shit, I don't know, Horizon. And over here you have your different tools. Pen is the normal one that you can use to just draw. But then there's curve, which does you click at points and it does a Bezier curve, and you double tap to stop it. Then you have regular old line, and that's just a click to from one point to another. But I'm gonna, another cool thing is, let's make the horizon about right here. See, you're gonna have to eyeball it pretty much, but that looks decent enough. A cool thing about line work layers is, let's say we want a massively thick line. So you click on this thing called weight, and then you click on you select your brush size, and when I click on it, it increases or decreases the weight of that line, which is handy. But there's that. And let's do perspective 1. Okay. Now for this one, I'm going to be going over 1 point perspective, which is where all of the perspective advantages towards one single point, and that is here. Let me get this. All right. Actually, I should have made that a different color. Sorry. Let's make it kind of purpley. All right. So the line that I'm gonna go for, the point I'm gonna go for, we'll put it on our horizon. We'll put it right here. That's where all the perspective in the piece is going to go towards. Now, the way that perspective works is that this is your horizon line. So that's the center of your piece. So if you are below the perspective line, if you're below the perspective line, you'll be seeing the tops of things. Oh, I just went into Google and I grabbed it off of Google Images, and I just pulled it in there. Just something real lazy. Just search for grid and you get like a million. But like, let's start with something on the bottom. So let's. A lot of this depends on your imagination, much like the shading. You have to imagine that this thing is actually this square is actually sitting below the horizon line. This rectangle, I should say. And since it is, we will be seeing the top of it. Here, I'll draw another one up here, just for reference. And again, if you're gonna want to do like exact perfect perspective and things like that, you're gonna want to be using lots of like either stabilizers inside with guidelines, or you're gonna want to be using Photoshop or GIMP pen tool, because that's gonna be much more exact than this is for just, you know, sketching. But it works well enough. At least it's worked okay for me. And now I'm gonna make another line work layer. Wait, no. Balls, get in the folder. There it is. Okay. Well, you can. It's just that you can't make them locked in 90-degree increments. Like, you could do the thing where, like, if you click here and you hold shift and you click, it'll go. But you get some funky stuff sometimes, depending on your stabilizer. I mean, not your stabilizer, your pressure sensitivity settings and your density. Like, it's not always a guaranteed thing that it's gonna look nice. But I'm gonna be using these lines. So now, the way perspective works is that all the edges, all the lines, go towards this single vanishing point over here. So the easiest way to do this is to look for corners or tangents, which here's corners. I'll do tangents in a sec with spheres. So you go from the corners towards the vanishing point. And since this corner's up here, this is going to be behind, so you can't even see it, so it's not even worth doing. And let's do this one. Okay. As you can see, we got some sort of trippy Tron looking like thing where you got the cubes going off into the distance. I'm gonna bring that down a little bit. Okay. now, so this is the top edge of your object, and this is also going to be the top edge, but it's going to follow this perspective line. And let's say we want our object to be, I'm just eyeballing, this is, I'm gonna put it to about here. The way you should do this is that you should start off with one edge and work from there, because if I do that edge and then I do this edge like this, chances are that's going to be massively off. As you can see, this does not match up with this. So what you do is you start off with either edge. I started off with this one, and since there's only one vanishing point right over here, these are the only faces of the object that are going to be affected and are going to be perceived as, you know, vanishing into the background. So all the other lines will be perfectly straight, like this, be perfectly straight up, and this one will be perfectly straight across. We connect that up with this, and we have that one there. And as you can see, aside from my shitty line right there, you can see that this object looks like it's floating in the air, and you're looking at the underside of it. Right here. We're looking at the underside. That's because it's above the horizon line, and that's called a worm's eye view. Like if you set your drawing to be where the horizon line is at the very bottom, that's called worm's eye, which means that you're like a worm looking up at everything else. And it's going to be some very, very intense perspective. Alternatively, bird's eye is when you have the horizon at the top so that you're looking down on everything. But for the most part, you're going to have something generally in between those two. But let me do the top one. Or the top-down view, I mean. And there is that. Okay, now I'll show you the tangential 1 point, is what I mean. Also, if you move anything after drawing it like this with the perspective lines, oh, hang on. If you move them at all like this, they are then going to be completely incorrect with the rest of your piece. So if you move anything after drawing the perspective lines, you are going to have to redraw the perspective lines, otherwise it's just going to look completely out of place. And alright, so that was cubes. Let's do cylinders now. I'll do one facing us like that. And then I'll I'll do... it's kind of tough doing the side view of the cylinder, so we'll give that a shot. Yeah, in Photoshop and pretty much every other photo editing program, if you hold Shift, it locks your strokes and your lines in 45-degree increments. So things like horizon lines, you can like straight, perfectly flat horizon lines are, you know, very easily done in Photoshop, not so much in Sci. Actually, not all in Sci, I should say, because you gotta eyeball it. This line right here, I just took something that was like a little slight bit above half on this graph, and I mimicked it on the other side, and it looks relatively flat. But it's not gonna be perfect. Okay, so now, the way that it works, the way that perspective works with these spheres, since there's no corners, we're going to take this line and we're gonna make it go until it touches right there. As you can see, the tangent, this perspective line is now tangent to this cylinder right there. We're gonna do the same over here. We're gonna go until it hits the edge, and then there. And that's our perspective for that. Now this one is a little trickier. This is actually going to be a cylinder on its sitting on the base, and it's a little harder to imagine in that this would actually be piercing through like the center of it. So I'm gonna do a couple lines actually, just for reference. I'm gonna turn that down. I'll start with this other one first, because now you've got, this is the face, the circle face of the cylinder, and these are the edges. And since this is 1 point perspective, you're gonna want to mimic this curve right here over here. So it'll essentially look like this. Yeah, let me grab this. I'll make that really light. It'll look like that actually. It'll look exactly like that. And then there is your line on the side, and that's a cylinder. Now this is kind of odd, since this line right here, that is the side that we're viewing. That is not necessarily the line tangent to the sphere. I mean tangent to the circle like this up here, because the top is actually gonna go somewhat like this. So the line that's gonna hit, or I mean, so the tangent is actually gonna be about right here instead of over here. It's kind of weird, but that's actually off looking. And for the most part, you can tell if something looks off with perspective, because if everything else looks, you know, uniform and nice, if something is odd, it's going to stand out massively. Hang on, I'm getting a phone call. Alrighty then. Okay. And this bottom again is going to mimic it like that. Curves and spheres and circles and things are the hardest to do in perspective because they turn into ellipses. And if you do like mechanical drafting and stuff, they actually have sheets of ellipses at specific angles that are used in isometric drawings for mechanical drawings, and so that's good, but we're not always working at 30, 60, 45 degrees, so you're gonna kind of have to eyeball it. Is there another shape or something you want me to go over with 1 point, or I can go to 2 point? Alright, I guess we're gonna head off to 2 point perspective. My mic is on, right? Hopefully it didn't stay muted. Okay. Now, we're going to be having 2 vanishing points from now on. One over here, one over here. Now, this is going to be a little bit hard to say that you're going to have less planning, I guess, in that with our 1 point perspective, you know how we had this face. We drew the face of the cube. That's because the face was unaffected by a vanishing point. But from here on, both sides are going to be affected by the vanishing point, so the only thing that will not be affected are completely vertical lines. So this is actually going to be a cube up in the air. This is going to be a cube on the ground. And let's do a cube that's kind of got both going on here. Now, everything to the oh, that stupid fucking S thing that everybody drew back in the day. But everything to the left. Whoa. I did not click at all. Interesting. Everything to the left of this line right here will go towards this vanishing point on the left. Same for here, same for here. And everything on the right will go towards that one. So now, there's that one, that guy, and this guy. Okay. So now we have our perspective lines for our 3 cubes. We are going to draw the rest of them. And this one has a some more back and forth than the other one did. So let's say I want the cube to be about that wide. And again, the vertical lines are not affected. So this one will go straight up and down. And again, to make sure everything matches. Wait, no, not necessarily. If you want a perfect cube, then yeah, that's a little harder to get as perfect cube. Just by eyeballing, it's a little harder. But I'm not gonna try and make this one perfect. Okay. So this next one. And finally the top-down view. Okay. Now that's the left face of these cubes. And we'll make another one just for reference. This is the second pass. Because we're gonna have to go from these points right here that we created to make sure that, you know, everything else matches up correctly. Because what I'm doing, I'm not gonna be it's a little hard to explain this one now, since I'm going to be drawing things to the right of this vertical line again. They're going to go to this vanishing point again. This is actually the back face of the cube that I'm working on. And that. Okay. Now, this is where shit can get kind of confusing. And ideally, you would be erasing all this crap over here. Wait. You'd be erasing all this crap over here that you're not going to use. But I'm keeping it all here for reference. Okay. Now that we have that one, we can work on that. So we draw the bottom face. Actually, I goofed up. I should have been doing over here. I should have been doing the top and the bottom for this guy. Okay. So now we drew our bottom line. This is our bottom face. Okay. And here's our bottom edge again. And now we can, since this is towards the side, we can go straight up like that. and finish off this edge right here. But with this guy, since we're going off at the bottom, it's takes a little more time to do. And if you want this guy right here to look perfect, this one right here, you're going to have to imagine what it looks like behind so that everything matches up. So let's say that behind, call this one behind, that behind the cube, it goes to about here. So this is the back face of the cube that you're never gonna see, but it is still very much a part of the object. Alright, I need another line work layer, because 2-point has tons of shit. Okay. Okay, so now, from here, I'm gonna draw a perspective line that's tangent to this point, but I want to extend it a little bit so that I have enough, you know, I have enough there to draw the edge, to reference the edge. And now here we have this guy right here going to this point, and you can now see the bottom face of this fucking thing finally. And we can get the last edge right there. Okay. And now with this guy, I'm gonna do the same thing. I want to make it connecting to this point, but I'm going to extend it past, so I make sure the line goes through this point right here, this corner, but I'm going to make it go past a little bit so that I have some extra perspective line for reference. So there's that one, and then I'm doing it again. Now, I'm going to draw perspective from this line, or these corners, to here. And you can see it's not perfect because my sketch isn't perfect, and like I use wide lines, so it's going to be fudged a tiny bit, but if you use thinner lines you're going to get stuff that's more exact. But the atmospheric perspective with like buildings and shit is actually very, very hard compared to imagining how characters look with foreshortening, which that portion is going to be a lot easier, I promise. This stuff is fucking like pulling teeth if you're first learning it. Like, it really is. It's a lot of the time people say that this is the worst. This is the worst thing ever, which I don't blame them. And now this, since it's to the left, it'll go to this one over here, and this point will go over here. I have lines fucking everywhere. I apologize. Actually, let me just get rid of those last ones. Okay. So now we go back to our cube. And I'm gonna finish the back, the behind. So we have this one right here, and then this is our other face that is behind the cube. About like that. But here's the bottom face of this cube right here. We saw it take shape, and simply connect the vertical line there, and you have this guy. Now the last face that's left to be drawn is just from here to here to here to here. That's how that one looks. And now you could have just kind of fudged it a little bit, but I don't know. It's better to practice going through and imagining the whole object. Otherwise, you can get things that kind of look funny, and sometimes it's a little hard to notice, but things might seem off. Yeah. Okay, here. I have this already done. Well, for the most part, I have it done. Okay. Last one we need is this point right here, this edge right there. So I'm going to connect from this point to that point, and then we can see the top face of that object. And yeah, perspective is one of the things it's gonna take a while to get used to. It really will. And that's unfortunate and kind of shitty to say, but you just gotta practice it. Do you guys even want me to go over 3-point perspective? Or no? Because I can move on to ponies, if need be. Yes, Lance has it. You'd start with a point. And you'd go from the bottom point and make your vertical lines, or the top point, whichever one, and you'd make your vertical lines, and then you'd just build off of there. Basically, you're building shapes out of 3 points, and it can be fun. I don't know if I need to save that for another day or not, because this was a lot of bullshit just to draw cubes. But it goes a lot faster when you're not explaining things. And I would highly recommend just grabbing a piece of scratch paper and getting a ruler and a pencil and just going at it, because that's a lot, infinitely easier than using a computer program to do this, really, honestly. So, this is where paper and pencil win over digital, I think, is with drawing perspective like this. So, I guess, well, unless anybody really wants me to go over 3-point perspective. Yeah, you can use ruler on your tablet. Okay. Alright. There's that lesson gone. Thank God. Foreshortening. Now we draw ponies. Okay. Okay, so. Now this perspective when drawing ponies is more, when you're drawing characters, it's more often called foreshortening, which is the placing of parts of the body in front of others to simulate depth. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it from the show. fucking Procaster on top of everything. Okay. Actually, I don't have a whole awful lot of. Oh, here it is. Here's the one. Okay. Now, let's just take her and put her in this. There it is. Okay. Okay, so now, as you can see, she's not obviously not, you know, on a side view, so there's things that, parts of her body that are behind others, and that's what foreshortening is all about. Right here you can see by the way that the lines on her character go imply that things are in front of other things. Like right here you have this overlap with her her leg above her torso to imply that the leg is in front. And again you have the curve of her body right here, her torso, in front of her leg, her back leg over there, which implies that her torso is in front of her back leg. And you know, her head obviously goes all the way like that. That's probably one of the easiest examples. But so if you're gonna draw this, you're going to want to imagine them as a 3D being, you know, that instead of just pictures on a screen. Because if she were real, she would follow these exact specifications that, you know, if she stood like this and you were looking at her, you'd get that overlap, 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 just from looking at her. Now, to do that, I'll start off with drawing side view code. Now I'm just going to draw a very basic so that you get the thing that you're looking for, that's easiest to look for, are her her head, her torso, and her ass. You're gonna look for that, where they are in reference to each other. So now you can see that the head is first, torso second, the hips are third. So when we turn her at a 45-degree angle, here's her head. It's number one, that's going to be first. And second should be her torso, right there. Followed by her butt is third. And there's her hooves. And now, turning her more to where she's facing you, you have one, and you have two, and behind that you have three. You can't see it because it's entirely covered up. And it's those things that you want to pay attention to, is the head, the chest, and the hips. Because if you build off of those, you should be able to build the rest of her and have it look convincing to that she's actually, you know, doing this kind of pose to imply depth and everything like that. So like, let's take, and you can apply that further with these circles. Hang on. Let's do it with a leg. With the foreleg. Because the leg looks like this. A little tube. But it's actually composed of several spheres inside. Like this. That. So you have, we can do that again. We can go like this. That'll be 1. This will be 2, 3, 4. And using that, you can determine what they look like when they're bent, and when they're bent and turned at the same time. So now we have, let's say we have with their hoof like this. And this is, I'm going for side view first, so apologize if it looks shitty. But we have 4, 3, 2, and the 1 is like the base. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I ran out of musics. No. Okay. So you have the 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So now we're gonna turn that at 45-degree angle, and we'll see 1 first. So that's 1, and I'm gonna be mimicking this pose right here, this zigzag. Then we have 2, 3, 4. It looks exactly like this, staggered, except it's a little more squished. And it's squished because we're looking at it at a different angle. So then, you know, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And we're gonna get that overlap. This is in front, so that's gonna overlap. That's kind of a cluttered example. Let me do it again. Okay. So we have the actual hoof, and then you go down to here. Since 2 overlaps 3, you're gonna get this line going right here. 1 overlaps 2, so you cover that up. 2 overlaps 3, so we get this line right here, you'll see it in a sec. And 3 overlaps 4, so we go back to 4, and we have that. That hoof is very, very long. There, that's more like it, kinda. So it helps if you know the way they're constructed and break it down. And yes, the line does change depending on the hook pose, depending on what pose you want to portray. But the thing you want to look at are the joints, or at least break up the hooves or their legs into sections, so that you know which one will be placed on top of the other. Because this is all about laying pieces on top of other pieces to make it look like there's depth. That's all that you're trying to do here. Now the back legs are probably trickiest, I think. Because you got that. Okay, here's the hip. Okay. You got that little thing going on there. Alright. Oops. Because you have one, which is the base, and then 2, 3 is actually right there, up to 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The way to treat these things is, I don't know who posted it, and I know Rose uses this too, is that this right here is actually their ankle, because like if you look at a human foot, you have the base of the human foot, and there's the ankle, and then you get to the actual foot there, but then the knee is a little further up here, but you have the base of the foot, which is your 1, and this is your 2, and this is your 3. Well, it's just a very, very exaggerated 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes, it's very good to treat it as if they're wearing shoes. There's a cartoonist, I forget exactly who, that they did, and they drew like kangaroo legs and horse legs and human legs and all wearing shoes, and it's a very good example of Tex Avery, yes, of where, you know, how things work. So a lot of the time I see people doing this, they forget that there is this notch right here, that there is actually an entirely separate bone inside, that there are 2 joints there. I see people forget that sometimes, and it makes them bend the legs in funny ways, and it makes them generally just like they draw this tube with a notch in it for no reason. You know, they don't know that that's actually a bone in there. A lot of the times I see that happen, and it's very good to pay attention to, because you can end up with some very painful looking poses on ponies. Alright, yeah, wait for that picture. It's a fucking amazing reference. Yes. And it'll really illustrate how you see it. Yeah, I never thought about that before, putting shoes on them, but it's a fantastic reference. So make sure everybody save that and keep it in your reference folder, which I hope you have a reference folder for drawing if you're doing this, because that's a very good reference. Okay, and the foreshortening with these hind legs is Well, the thing is that just from the side view to the front view, they actually do have some foreshortening, as opposed to the foreleg, which is just the tube. You know, the tube's gonna look the same. You know, from the side, from the front, you're not gonna get any overlaps to imply depth and perspective. So with this, like, let's say here's our 4, 3, 2, 1. You're gonna get quite a bit overlap. You're gonna get a little bit of a notch there. So that's just from side to front. You're gonna get a little bit of perspective on that. I think the hardest things probably would be ponies in odd poses, like sitting like sitting on their ass with their legs out, their back legs out. It's hard to do that, and especially to depict that with perspective correctly. So is there anything else you want me to go over? Just keep showing you examples, or what? Of perspective, I mean foreshortening, stuff like that. Okay, yeah. So that's side-ish, front, and here's from the back. So here's your 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's the opposite, in fact, because you have this overlap below and the upper part goes behind. Well, since it's in reverse, you're looking at it from the back. The lower part right here is behind, and the upper part is above. And then this would be, yeah. So you want me to, like, I could do a fuller picture or fuller pose, that if you guys want me to do a specific pose, we could build the pose with correct perspective. If you want, we could do that. Whatever you want to do. Okay, well, shoot. If you give me a difficult pose, then I can attempt to do it. Sitting. Yeah, we're on foreshortening perspective for ponies. Sitting. Whew. Ah. If you could upload a sitting reference somewhere, that'd be cool, because I don't think I have any specifically saved for sitting. Yeah, the show does that a lot. You can see that a lot. That they change horse anatomy for cartoon advantage, in that they warp it a little bit. It wasn't so much early on, but now they do it all the time. They make their legs bend how they shouldn't, and it's, you know, funny because it's a cartoon. But if you, I mean, you could do that. You could do that and it would work. But if you want to do it quote unquote correctly, then you're gonna need to really work at it to make it look like it's, you know, feasible and not that painful. Yeah. Like, I could pull in, well, you could do this too, is that I could pull it in and trace over and add the bones in to see what they're doing, to see, you know, if it would help. Yeah, that one is different from a lot of the other sitting references that I've seen. Let me see if I have any sitting riffs specifically. I think I have one of Sweetie Belle sitting. Yeah, I do. There. Okay. Okay, so let's turn these down a little bit, and I'm gonna go over them. Okay. Let's turn this here. Okay, so there we have our 1, 2, 3, 4s, and I will attempt to find where they are in these. So you have, like, the 1 is the base, and I'm assuming it would go like that. That's the 1, 2, 3 is about, like, up in here, right there. And her 4 is her hip joint. So there's that. CMC's not the best for that, since they're kind of chubbly. It's not that easy to exactly see where they are in there. Ah, yes, this is the one that I see them use a lot. the Applejack. Okay. Okay. So you have the 1 there, leading to the 2. Three, and the 4 is right there to her hip joint. There's 4, 3, 2, down to 1. This is also a very good practice. Very good practice. I would recommend doing this. If you don't know how the hell a pose works, take a screen cap from the show that uses that pose and draw over it. Yeah, they are pretty much made out of rubber. Because if you've seen it used in the show and it's not too broken, then you can use it yourself. It may not be 100% anatomically correct, but these horses are cartoons and made out of marshmallows, so I don't think it really matters too much to pay attention to exact horse anatomy. Yeah, they do break their own rules. But they don't break them, well, they don't break them to the point where it looks, you know, like they're gonna kill the horses with how many bones they're breaking. Most of the time, they don't. Yeah, most of the time. So sometimes there's poses where they make me cringe. But, oh well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm not sure exactly how real horses would sit. I really honestly have no idea, so I don't know which of these is the best to approach. Well, yeah. Well, I'd consider AJ supposed to be sitting, pretty much. I'd call that sitting, since, you know, they're ponies. Dang, URL. Horse sitting. Oh, there's plenty. Horse chasing a dog. Alright. But yeah, actually, Sweetie's pose is probably the closest to what I'm seeing here. That's funny. Sitting practice. Okay, so now let's draw something instead of tracing over ponies. So who should I draw and how and what and when and why? Give me something complicated pose-wise. Or I could practice more sitting. Either one. Rearing? Okay. Well. Brayburn is a pose? No. I know. So I like to start with the head. I'm gonna do a side view first, real quick. For the most part, the forelegs are relatively close together when they're rearing. Close together in pose. I mean, so you're not gonna have one that's like way down here and way up there. You know, unless you do that one thing that Dash did in the first episode with the acting like she's punching. So this is the Ferrari pose. Okay. Now their legs are going to be, for the most part, directly beneath their hips, unless you're towards the end of rearing, where they'd be like this. They'd be more behind because they're falling forwards and about to fall back down to the ground again. So this is at the peak, I suppose. This would be about like that. Be where her hind legs end up. Maximum extension? Yeah, if you're drawing, yeah, but I guess it all depends on at the maximum extension, that like if you're drawing that gives the maximum effect of that pose. It's like drawing like in a comic book. If you're gonna draw somebody punching, you don't want his arm reared back. You know, you want him to be extending his arm in a punch, because it's just if they're not fully extended and fully doing their pose, since it's a drawing, it's hard to imagine. Well, no, not hard to imagine. like you're imagining them not being, you know, fully doing that pose if they're not fully extending, you know, to the full extent of that pose. So if you draw her scrunched up, or you draw the pony scrunched up halfway through a pose, it's gonna look like something's kind of odd about them. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that's wrong. Okay. This is where skeletons are essential. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 kind of got scrunched a little bit. 3, 4. To make sure everything looked correct, do the flippy thing. Okay. Now this is not cartoony enough proportions. I made her a little too lanky to be considered cartoony, but that's a-okay for now, I suppose. Okay. Now we're gonna build her around the skeleton we made. And now since it's more of a side view right now, the the foreshortening is mostly gonna be, you know, her left leg. Her left legs are gonna be behind her right legs, and if you look at her from the side, her legs are going to come before her hips and her torso, so it's relatively easy to imagine that. It's not too many things covering up other things. So let's start with her legs, since they're the closest to us. You know, if you're looking at her from the side, again, you're going to see her legs before you see her torso. So let's go with the outside leg. And this one. Okay, so you have that, and then next step in, you have her torso, which is going to be right here. And that would include her head. And then the last thing you'll see will be her hind legs, or not her hind legs, her legs in the background, her left legs. Yeah, that's something totally a whole nother drawing lesson would be action lines. Should be action lines. I did Pegasus wings the first time, I think, but I didn't cover them very well. I mean, mostly because I suck at Pegasus wings. But yeah. But I can go over them again. If you remind me after I'm done doing this, I can go over Pegasus wings. But okay. So now let's do that same pose, but from the front. You're gonna have, let's do the exact pose if we can. Okay. Head. Oh gosh. Tops of the hooves. Oh boy. It's you. Okay, I think that's enough for that. Alright, so now, from the front, the first thing that we're going to see will actually be her head, and her forelegs. So, let's get with it. And the forelegs is what we're going to see first. Or actually come to about here. Okay, secondly, what we're gonna see is her neck. Her neck, you can kind of see, like, imagine that you have this big sheet, and you are moving that sheet along, and since you're viewing her from the front, you're gonna see her hooves first, then her head, then her chest, and then down to her hips and her legs. And that's how that's my process of, you know, viewing this. That I am seeing it in layers. I'm seeing it happen in layers, and I'm drawing it from things that appear first down to that. Okay, so now we are going to do, this is where her neck comes into play, and her chest, down to her stomach, which comes down to about there. It's kind of hard to imagine these sometimes. And lastly, last layer you're gonna see are her hind legs. And there's gonna be that little notch, which is, you know, that extra, or those bones there. So that's that, pretty much. Is there another pose you want me to tackle, I guess? Okay. Cartwheels. Hey, no problem. Thanks for watching. Sleeping? I suppose I should save this thing, that'll probably help. Okay. I guess we could do sleeping, maybe. Oh, shit. Who haven't I drawn yet for stream drawings? I've done Lyra and Pinky. So Spitfire. And no, I'm not done yet. I'm just thinking of, I want to kind of work on this, like, cause every stream before, I've taken what I've gone over and done a picture out of it. So I'm kind of wanting to do a picture with a complicated pose, or one that uses a lot of foreshortening. So and then I'll go over, you know, my process of doing it, and kind of talk to you about like what goes through my head. So if you have a complicated pose, pony flying straight at the viewer. That one's actually not that hard, because meditating, well, if you're gonna be mimicking the typical meditating pose, then yes, it probably would be a little complicated. So let's see. I could do one of pony flying at the viewer real quick. Yeah, the lotus. Sitting like, yeah, the broken poem. Exactly. But, you know, for cartoon purposes, you can mimic it. It won't be that crazy. But flying at the viewer, actually, for the most part, you're going to be seeing hooves. You'll be seeing hooves for the most part. Since the hooves are way in the foreground, they're going to be very large, and they're going to take... Oh! That's what I forgot to mention. Let's move that there. Here is your camera. Depending on what's there, I'm just drawing circles. Like, the distance from the camera determines how large something looks in terms of foreshortening. This is a, yes, teaching time with Uncle LK, that's what this is, yes. Okay, the distance from your camera, like how close something is to your quote-unquote camera, your eyes, your viewport, whatever you want to call it, that determines how large something is. So, something like this, right here, big object but far away, it might look tiny. So, you know, like right here, let's do that, put that there, and then this is going to be your little viewport that you're looking at. So we're going to see this guy first. He's right about here, so he's going to be like that. And then this guy, is going to be, since he's, and this is all, like, you can measure this out to make sure that, you know, things are correctly proportioned depending on their, you know, how far they are from the camera. But A lot of the time I just eyeball it. Oh, did the stream die for you? No. It says I'm still streaming, so it might be on his end. Okay. So if everything's okay, I can go ahead. Oh. Okay. Never mind then. Steam. It's funny, everybody read stream. Okay. So, I'm just gonna stack all these objects on top of each other. Or very close to each other. So since that's pretty close, it'll look fairly large. And then this guy, since he's a little farther away, he'll not be all that much larger. And then this guy right here. And this guy way in the back, he can be about that small. And this guy is gonna be really small. So like hot pink, yellow. Quartz, quartz, quartz. That song? Oh, that's from Catacomb Snatch. That one game that Mojang did. Mojang, whatever. If you guys want music, one second. Media file. Okay. This should work. I think it should work. Hopefully. I might drop Tony sleeping. You missed quite a bit, actually. You missed an hour and 45 minutes. That's how much. Mm-hmm. Not very soon, no. I'll be going for a little bit. Okay, but yeah, so now we have, let's have dash flying like this. Wings out, all that good stuff. Oh goodness, that's very, very much laggy. I don't like it at all. Scrunch. Okay. So now, we're gonna use that camera thing again. Here's your camera. Since, yes, we're on foreshortening / perspective / stuff. looking at a pony flying directly at you, since the hooves are going to be the first thing you see, and for dramatic effect, actually, this would actually be more like this. Here's the camera. Like this, these right here, you can see that her hooves are the foremost thing in the picture, so they're going to be the largest, and they cover up a lot. It's going on for an hour and 45 minutes. Okay. God damn, it's hot in here. Shit. Oh. Alright. I apologize for any static generated by that fan, because it has two settings, which is slow and tear itself off the ceiling. So, slowly. I could camcorder it up too, except I don't have a webcam. Okay, yes, that's a very important thing that I forgot to mention way in the beginning. If you want exaggerated views, the things that are closer to the camera are going to be much larger, and that will create a lot greater depth. So, camera depth. Oh. Okay. I guess I can go on to drawing maybe Derpy or something. Maybe. Oh god, this song is amazing. Okay. Anybody got any poses for Derpy that they would like to see with foreshortening and things of that nature? Karate kick. Yes, it's getting recorded. Although, like, all of them are recorded and saved to my hard drive, but the previous one I did just last night did not save to the, live stream, like video playlist, which is odd. So I don't want to have you guys download a fucking massive video file, but hopefully it'll I did this. And YouTube, no, it wasn't a tutorial. It was upload for Scratch. Ah, yes, the drawing classes. Does YouTube, what's the file size and length of video limits for YouTube? Because videos are it's only 167 megabytes. Alright, later, Quartz. Well, then file size limit is the only thing I'd be hindered by, because livestream doesn't record anything over 5 hours, so I'm not gonna have, you know, that long of a stream. Oh. Alright. Derpy then. Derpy drawing then. I just need to figure out how. Like we could have her doing something funny, maybe. Like, I don't know what's funny for Derpy to do. Riding a bike. Head stuck in a fishbowl. Okay. I can do that. That works. So like on her back. Good taste is necessary for good art. Ah. Sometimes. Things can be artistically impressive and not necessarily be in good taste. But it all depends on how you, I guess, perceive things. Like if you can disassociate the theme of something with the actual artistic skill and talent that went into it, then good taste is not necessary for good art. But a lot of the time, most people see a picture as a whole entire entity, and that the theme of the picture, they couple it with the actual artistic ability, which I'm not saying that's bad, because that's how most people view it, but, you know, like, I can appreciate things that normally people would go, you know, like, ugh, that's gross, or that's nasty, or, you know, that's fucking wrong. But, you know, I look more for actual, the way it's portrayed. Okay, so the nature of aesthetics, its appeal. Yeah, I guess. Although, I don't know, like, there's a lot of, like, thin lines for defining aesthetics, and it's like aesthetics is your own aesthetics. So, and I actually I can do a tutorial on creating your own style. Well, Dr. White, that's not always the case. Like, it can be for a lot of people that unappealing implies bad art. But you know what is can be unappealing to a lot of people is stuff like cubist art. That can be unappealing to a lot of people, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Oh, and video phone. This music is from Catacomb Snatch. Yeah, I have liked a picture I've found unappealing. I can't give you exact examples. It hasn't really happened recently, or I haven't, you know, noted it in my mind that I like this, but I don't like it. But yes, it's happened a lot. It happens a lot because I can, you know, appreciate things for the artistic talent and the work that went into it separately from what the picture is about. Okay. Yeah, it's all very much of your own thinking and your own way of looking at things and your own way of appreciating things, that how you view things. Like, I don't know, there's always going to be somebody telling you that you should look at something this way, or you don't appreciate it because you're not looking at it this way. But if you don't appreciate something, or you don't like something, then that's you, and that's no problem at all that you don't like it. Like, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, you know, I like the way that guy did this, and, you know, you could totally want to vomit at the painting, but it's all subjective, very much subjective. So there's no really way to encompass everything in terms of, you know, this is aesthetically, or it's unappealing, so that means it's bad. No, that's not. It doesn't cover all bases. So yeah, it's more than meets the eye. Something like that, I guess. I don't know, I'm rambling. But yes, Nase. I can do a stream on developing your own style. I actually can't do that. But it would probably be a long one, and I don't know if I can do it today. how much RAM do you have? Okay, in Sci, go to Others and Options, then go to Workspace Usage. No, you don't. Sci can only use 2 gigabytes of RAM. So, like, if you're running nothing but Sci, you can max it out, and it would, you know, you won't need any more RAM. Well, that's another downside of Sci, is that it can only use, it's kind of limited in that regard. Whereas Photoshop, if you have like a buttload of RAM and you have, you know, you can make files that are like gigabytes in size, but Sci can't handle those. Like, it's not, that's the way it was developed. Like, I'm really hoping they make a new version of Sci that can utilize more memory. That would be fucking incredible, but I don't know how far off that is, or if they're even going to do that. I haven't been keeping up with the people who developed it. But yeah, if you go into workspace usage, like, I don't know exactly how to explain it. I just kind of increase these numbers until it wouldn't let me anymore, which is basically, like, because sometimes if the standard setting for this is like 3,000-ish or something like that, and so if you open a file that's larger than that, it'll crash. But so like, I increase the maximum amount so that I can, you know, open larger pictures and save larger pictures. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's this is a 32 bit program. It doesn't utilize as much as a 64-bit program does. Time for peaceful music. Okay. But yeah, like, a maximum in Sci, the maximum file size I can do is about 8,000 pixels square, and that's pushing it. Like, if I'd, like, right here, down here, you can see it says memory load. Right now I'm at 54%. And that's all, you know, like, all the layers I'm using and everything that's on the layers put me up to 54% memory usage. Like, if you draw with binary pens only, you can draw at 8,000 pixels squared and remain relatively low in your memory usage. And yes, Morrowind. Because the way that data is stored is that it stores what's on a layer. It stores the pixels color and the pixels opacity. And so when you get things like soft edges on everything, soft edges and lots of colors and lots of blending, that can drive up file size massively. But if you use binary pen only, or pencil, whatever, and you just have these lines right here, just very, very hard edged, everything, then the file size is insanely small. And you can, that way you can work on a larger file and not suffer any slowdown. But that's a whole nother thing entirely. Derpy with their head stuck in a fishbowl. Oh, now, buddy. There we go. Oh. Well, what's the file size? I mean, like, pixel width. And on that note, I would recommend getting something like GIMP and just using GIMP to resize and crop, because that's another thing. Sci sucks balls with cropping, resizing, and drawing like straight lines on 90 and 45-degree angles. Sci sucks bad with those. I will admit that is. Sci is bad for that. So I think I have Photoshop CS. And I only use it for resizing and cropping. That's all I use it for. I don't use it for anything else, because I use Sci for everything. And the good thing is that you can save. Oh yeah. Does Paint have a cropping tool now? I haven't really looked at it, because the thing that I like about Photoshop and GIMP is that they have a cropping tool. Alright. Well, then you can use Paint. I don't know how it would handle resizing. Paint is not what I remember. I'm disappointed. And a good thing about Sci and Photoshop and GIMP together is that Sci can save as PSDs, so you can save it in Sci as a PSD and open it up right away in Photoshop or GIMP. I don't want to go that much, go that far for it. Not sure exactly how her front lights will work here. Fishbowl needs to be a tad bit bigger too. Derp. Streams. Yes. Wow. That's ridiculous. Okay. What kind of expression should she have? Maximum scrunch. Scrunchy face. That's alright. I'm drawing Derpy. And I'm gonna be going over how to make things, how to do things with foreshortening and stuff, and my process of going over it. Now I know I didn't draw a skeleton, but I'm gonna draw one now. that I have right here, I have her chest. That's her hips. And these X's on the top, that's basically the front of them, is what, just for reference. And now, from there, her hips are on the sides of it, like that. So much scrunchy face. Okay. Now, let me do a different color for her limbs. Anyways, I don't know if you guys remember from before, but here, let me bring it back. The hind legs with 1, 2, 3, and 4 joints are the points that you should pay attention to. So, now that I have those, I'm gonna go backwards. Here's my 4, and then we go up to 3, 2, 1. And since it's a little bit fudged, I fudged the anatomy a bit so that I could get the leg to look like that. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. That's more of a side view right here. This one is more of a like a front view, or at least for most of the leg right there. And now for the forelegs, there's 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is actually it's behind, since her hoof is on the other side, like that. But like you're eventually going to have, in some of your poses, you're inevitably going to have things like this right here, where you have bones in front of bones. But just so long as you remember that you have the bones there, that you have the structure there, it will, you can make it look like it would work. You can make it look like it would be proper. Because I didn't just draw, like a blob here. I didn't just go blob leg like that. I imagined the bones within it, and I built around it. Which is, skeletons. You should always use skeletons. And, the only time you should not use skeletons is when you've become so comfortable that you can imagine them without drawing them. Then you can just kind of go from there if you know the forms. Otherwise, skeletons will help you. They'll make sure you get your foreshortening correct. Which is what we want to do, is make sure it looks correct in the way that you portray the foreshortening. Okay, now that we have the skeleton and the main form, I think we can go to the inking. Oh, actually, I need to make it bigger. There we go. Maximize your usage of the canvas if you can. Foreshortening is the term for perspective when applied to like bodies and things. Like if you stick your hand, like you extend your arm towards someone's face, your hand is going to appear closer to them than the rest of your arm. That's foreshortening, you know. That sort of thing. Also, I should have all these videos saved. Do you guys want me to upload them to YouTube or make a channel or something like that? Draw class channel? I'm totally shit for video editing, so I'll just probably upload the video. No, I don't have it specifically, but like it depends on my mood, I guess, for drawing. Like if I'm teaching stuff, I'm not gonna want to play stuff that gets me all riled up and, you know, pumped for drawing. I'm gonna want something that slows me down a little bit, you know, so that I'm not going 90 miles an hour to forget to cover things. And no, my music folder is like, I have like 500 gigs of music. So, but most of it is very fast-paced, not conducive to good drawing. Or good teaching, I mean. Okay, so now we're going on to inking. Bourbon Street, yes. I need to get that CD. That's so good. I'm actually gonna turn off the skeleton since I trust my my sketch enough in that I don't need to reference the skeleton anymore. Actually, the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna, since she's in the glass, her head's in the glass, I'm gonna be doing her head separately. So crank up those stabilizers, rev up those stabilizers. Also, as a side note, I highly encourage music while drawing because it helps you get in sort of a drawing trance. And if I ever go for any length of time without speaking while drawing, it's because I am in said trance. Hopefully I don't do that too often. Okay, and now right here we're gonna have our first real instance of the foreshortening. In that, her elbow, I guess you could say, right here, is closer to us than her shoulder joint. So we're going to have this overlap right here, leading up to her shoulder joint, like that. And even that little bit of foreshortening, a little bit of overlap, produces a realistic depth of the image. Okay. Space Horse Derpy. Nope, I want that. What am I at? 30. We're gonna get this kind of the jelly bean shape of the body. Although, actually, the shoulders of ponies, I went over it before, is that they are not at the tops of the torso, they're more towards the front, or of the chest, in that the human shoulders are, you know, right by the neck. But the horses, ponies and stuff, they're more towards the front. So if it were a human, I'd be drawing the shoulders up here. Forgot one wood. Shoulder, shoulder. Don't think I forgot it. We'll see. Oh. Oh. Ha! Thank you. I didn't even fucking see that. No, you're not stupid. I'm just blind to my own drawings sometimes. That happens. Which is why it's good to have someone look over it. Actually, the chest I think would come out a little bit. Which will? Her left or our left? Because if it's our left, it might not be. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There we go. Let's figure it out. Let me draw her torso first. I think it's because I didn't have this joint specifically in it. It should actually be a little lower. In fact, the elbow doesn't come down far enough. And again, flipping is a good way to catch symmetrical mistakes. looks okay. Okay. Now on to the rest of the horse. I don't think I did that correct. Should be more like this. So you can see that there's still going to be a little bit of the overlap. Actually, her stomach looks kind of funny. She's not nearly round enough. Pudgy Pommy. Okay. You can kind of see where my skeleton is inside this. That here's the hip joint. It's on the side of her hip. And then it goes up to the knee, then the ankle, and then down to the base of the foot. And since it's a side view, you're not going to get a whole lot of overlap there. But this one, right here, it'll be slightly different because the hip joint is right here. So it's gonna come up and around like that. I don't like that very much. It'll intersect her stomach right there. So I am in fact going to change the way it looks by having it come more up like this. Turn my mic up? Sorry, I might be talking kind of quiet, but let me check. Alright, how's that? It's too loud, crackly, scratchy. Or maybe the music is too loud. Let me turn the music down a tad. How's this? Better, worser? I don't know. Okay. Oh man. I'm all out of coffee. Alright, well, have a good dinner with buddies, and I'll see about putting this shit on YouTube actually. Because then I can do those linky things in the video to, you know, whichever point, you know, this is when the perspective tutorial starts, this is when this starts, you know, I can do that. And it'd be good to have it centralized and not on live stream. So I'll think about it. I might need some help from someone who YouTubes more than I do. But yeah, thank you for watching. And I like doing these, they're fun. Yeah, live streams playback is pretty crappy. I think it's because it loads it from this huge fucking library that you have, you know, and it's not like on demand one video, it's all videos at once. So I actually need to make her leg go up a little bit more, her thigh, I suppose. And I don't know when it happened, but this one ended up looking like Tess's style. And last night I was drawing like Rose, so I don't know what the hell's going on. And here is the fudging of anatomy once more, for the sake of cartooniness. Okay. Get her wings. And the tail, and then I can do her head. Yeah, that's what I encourage, is to just do your own shit. I mean, it's impressive if you can draw in the style of the show, very impressive. But honestly, I like seeing individual takes on things much more than I do seeing mimicking the show style. Tail looks a little funny. That's okay though. Alright, on to the face. Now she's going to be under the water. So fudge how things look there. There didn't end up being a whole lot of foreshortening on this, but you're not really going to be ending up with like an excessive amount. There's only so much foreshortening that can happen unless the pony is on their back and you're looking down on them and they have all 4 legs extended towards you. That's probably going to be your worst nightmare as far as foreshortening goes, but I don't think many people would draw that. So a lot of it is minimal with things like this. You have the parts of the leg overlapping, her leg overlapping her torso, and just the layering of things. But so you won't be burdened by too much, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think you'll ever work yourself into that point. Do it. That's actually what my develop your own drawing style stream would be about. Would be mimicking. Because that's how I develop my style of drawing entirely. Like, I think you must have missed my comments or something like that in the generals I made a while ago about to make a style, take shit that you like. Well, style is a buzzword. Style is a buzzword if you use it as a if you use it as an excuse. Yes, that is a very, very, very good quote. Style is a buzzword if it's used as an excuse. If someone ever says, "Oh, that's wrong," or "Oh, this doesn't look right," and you respond with, "That's just my style," then that is when it becomes a buzzword. But we're talking about developing the way that you draw. And that quote that Talon posted, the Loomis quote, "Use another style as a crutch, only until you can walk alone." Because what I did, and what I've seen a lot of people do, is they take artists and styles and things that they like, and they mimic them, and they practice them, and they take elements from them that they like, and they make it their own. Basically what you're doing is you're assembling your style. It's gonna be your own Frankenstein monster, and it's going to be yours alone. No matter how much you copy somebody, unless you are a Xerox machine, you're never going to be able to, perfectly emulate that person every time. So even if you do copy somebody a lot, then it's still gonna be your own style. Yeah, snouts. Practice. Like, there's 1.5 million ways that people draw snouts, and I like a ton of them. So the show's snouts are pretty angular, I think, compared to stuff like I have on Derpy right here. That little kind of a round snout like that. I like that. so I use that. So that's pretty much what a develop your own style stream would be. It would be composed of teaching you to mimic people. So, copying styles, mimicking styles is something you should do, but you should not do it to the point where you want to be that person, you know, only drawing like them because you want to be like them or something like that. That's a different, motivation. Like, because what you want to do is develop your own style. So, like, copy from me, copy from... if you hate all the artists, then, I don't know, look at other cartoons, look at other things that you like. What would you like to see on the pony? How would you like to portray it? And look up references for things that are similar. Yes, that's true. SB, very true. Actually, her cheek should kind of be more like this. So best advice I can give for creating your own style is to shop around, pretty much. Oh god, that feel when you're drawing on the wrong layer. Marwin's all done. Oh, that's unfortunate. Time for more music. What do we want to listen to? You guys. Yous guys. Ooh. Lay down a beat? Fuck no. I can't beatbox for shit. that groove. Unfortunately, I lost all my pair of Stellar. I don't know what happened to him. In the computer switch, I seem to have lost him. Yeah, I need to go back getting him again. Okay, for reference, water. Let's do it like this. Oh, what? Okay. Wait, no, there. That's what I wanted. Yes, fantastic. That gets rid of her confuzzled brow. I don't like that so much. It's too much. Too much. I think that looks okay. Does that look close to her hair? Or need to be longer, maybe? I was considering it. Have we seen goldfish in the show? So it's just, you know, I'd like to make it similar, is the thing. Yeah, they'd know. They'd know for sure. That looks decent enough for hair, I suppose. was. It'd be typical to have a goldfish in here, wouldn't it? Preferable, I mean. Don't know if I like that transition from head to hair. Ah, yes, stick figures. Fucking Google. Goldfish. Cartoony depiction of a goldfish. Don't think the eyes are big enough. I've never drawn a goldfish before. Well, that is that, I do believe. Shreddy fish. God. Oh, she needs her cutie mark. Is it one? Too much. Far too much. Actually, technically, we shouldn't even really see much of it. Yeah, we shouldn't. In fact, I don't think we'd see any of it at all. Because according to the skeleton, her skeleton goes like this. Starts here, then goes up here, down to here, and over there. So this area right here is where we'd see it, but that's covered up. So we wouldn't see it at all. Okay. Now for colors. I'm gonna make another folder for this so I can duplicate them in case I fuck up somehow. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna be doing shading on her, so I'm just gonna be, you know, filling in instead of doing my usual thing where I'm more careful. I'm being reckless, guys. Oh, I gotta copy the water. No. There. water on it, just like that. So let me turn off the background real quick. There we go, now I can see it better. Fantastic. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was afraid of that. There it is. Not yet. Where's the hole? Oh. There it is. Two. I actually am going to do the thing for the eyes, though. Nope. I'm gonna make a new layer for the eyes. Where is it? Blend. There's my blend. Okay. Now, finally, for the eyes, those weird little highlight things that they have inside. Okay, now for the fish, needs to be slightly more yellow. The bubbles, I think, should be relatively similar in color. Actually, that shouldn't go all the way. 2. There it is. Actually, on the very edge. Since we got the edge of the glass. There it is. Oh. Whoa. Bad idea. There we go. Should lock my taskbar. Okay. That looks okay, doesn't it? I think, maybe, kinda, sorta. Oh! Oh, oh, oh. I forgot something. I forgot her other hoof. Okay. That's what I forgot. What's it look like all the way? It's not so bad. Should I do colored lines or no? Do we want colored lines? Actually, let's try it with... Yeah, that's the thing. You got the color lines for everything. Actually, let me duplicate that. Bubbles. Oh, the eye gradient? I'll do that again real quick after I finish the colored lines. Oh. Yes, I do. One sec. Okay. That should link to a folder full of my stuff. The OBP is the brush pack, and the other ones are all the tutorials I've done so far with videos and stuff. So, if you want to download those and look at the files, you can go right ahead. Ugh. like that. Yeah. In hindsight, I should have kept the hairs separate, but I was hasty, and now I'm paying for it. Yeah, that's another thing. If you don't have to merge things, if you don't have to combine things, then you shouldn't really bother doing so. Like, I had no reason to combine those, actually. All those, the hair with the head with the everything else. I didn't have a reason to do that, so I don't know. I just did it because I didn't think I was going to use it later, but still, you know, I kind of screwed myself over slightly, in that it's less convenient to do this now than it was before. But that's not too bad of a deal. Actually, let me go sort of a gray. There it is. Maybe more. Yeah. There we go, that's adorable. Actually, the inks. Should be above everything else. Or, wait, no. I don't think that matters. It does matter. Shit. There we go. Now I am okay. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not sure. Tablets are very nice, and you can use them for other things other than just, you know, some people prefer tablets to a mouse, but, you know, there's really no way to tell for you. Like, if you could borrow one from somebody and try it out, if possible, I would recommend it. This one cost $1,000. But my previous one before this cost $250. It's a Wacom, whatever. Pretty much the leading brand of tablets. What the fuck is wrong with it? Must be a... Oh, ha, that's what's wrong with it. I made corrections. Yeah, the bamboo is around that much. They have 3 different flavors of bamboo. Well, the thing is that mine is a, one sec. This is mine. I draw on the screen. And so that's what I'm paying for. But, one that costs, well, like, a lot of it is, the technical specifications of the tablet itself. Like, the bamboo tablets, they have, far less pressure levels for pressure sensitivity than the upper ones do. Like a bamboo can come in pen, touch, and touch in one, which is, you know, you can draw on it with a pen, or you can, you know, touch it with your fingers as like a mouse. But that one has about a quarter of the pressure sensitivity that an Intuos has. So if you're looking for like really nice transitions for your pressure, you know, when you're drawing, like to get tapered lines and all that shit, like you're gonna want an Intuos. But if you honestly don't care about that too much, and you just want to draw, a bamboo is fantastic. And to step up, it's like $80 for a bamboo. And then like an Intuos 4, the smallest one, is like $300, so it's a pretty big step up. And yeah, like, it all boils down to preference again. Like, if you like a bamboo and you can work with a bamboo, then fucking that's money in your pocket you don't have to spend on a fancy ass tablet. One that's, you know, better, quote unquote, better than the others. Like, the only reason I'm working on this one is personal preference. Okay, I think she's done. I like it a lot better with colored lines. Alright, where am I at for time? 3.5 hours. Hey, Banky. Is it thundering again? No, they're just banging around the house. Alright. Okay. I think that this is, yeah, transparent up here. That's good. That's what I want. Okay, so did we want to go over wings next? I think someone said wings. What? When is a little bit? When is a little bit? Alright. Alright. Well, apparently, I am needed in a little bit, so... yeah, if I ever do this, and I move it away, that's me hiding my power level. Okay. Ah, shit. What? No? No, no one knows. No one knows. Fuck. You know, I should probably get going though. If they're gonna... A little bit is really fucking vague. And then... Actually, no, they never see. They never ask to see my drawings. They're like, what are you drawing? I'm like, stuff for school. And they never ask to see. Like, never. Never ever. Even though I bought this $1,000 fucking tablet. They never asked to see my shit. Oh, eye gradient. I can go over eye gradients very fast. Okay. At least I know I can do eye gradients in a little time. Whoa, still on S4. should be there. That should be like that. I'm doing a winky pinky. Horrible picture. Okay. Okay. Decent enough. I didn't get to see it yet, actually. I didn't play. I woke up at like I woke up 15 minutes after when I said I was gonna start to stream. So yeah, there's always that. Okay. So I need my reference, color reference. First image. Fantastic. Massive. Just what I need. Kablooey. Okay. The pink one. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have everything colored but where her eye is, her iris. Actually, one sec. That should technically be filled in with black. Okay. Okay, so now you see this gray area that's appearing where her iris is. That's where her eye color is going to be. So now I'm taking this down so you can see me working behind it. But what I do is I grab the two colors. There's this color up here, and then there's this color down here. I grab both of them, and I'm going to make a big blob of color down here for this half, and then I'm going to make another blob up here of this color. Why is that like that? There it is. Okay. So now you can see it on her iris. There's half and half. If you get the Anta brush pack, there should be one that's called Blend Clean. That works fantastic. And you make it pretty big so that it overlaps. You know, here's the halfway point. It goes a little bit this way, a little bit that way, and you just run it through the middle. That's it, pretty much. That's all you need to do, really. And then you can take these two colors here, and the lighter one is kind of smaller. Oops, I'm still in blend mode. The lighter one is kind of smaller, and then this one's a little bit larger, like that. And now when I turn this back up, oh, there's her eye. I didn't like those, actually. Should be more like that. There we go. And then over everything you're going to want a highlight. Over everything, including the inks. It's because I take the easy way out a lot of the time. There's shortcuts, and you should not be afraid to use them. Okay. I should probably be going now, though. So, thank you guys for watching. And hopefully I can do another one of these sometime soon, because they're a whole lot of fun to do. A whole lot of fun, which is why I keep doing them. And so long as you guys are learning from this, that makes me happy. Because that's really all that I would care to hear comes from this, is that you learn something. And that it helps in some way. 1 second. Fuck. There it is. Okay. There you go. And there is your pinky. Winky pinky. Okay. I really gotta go now though. So, thanks for watching, everybody. And I will really look into submitting these videos to YouTube and get a YouTube channel going and stuff. Later guys, thank you for watching. And hoping to do another one next week. As long as people want me to do tutorial streams, I'll keep doing them. So, yep, gotta run. I will see you guys on the generals at a later point. So, thank you, and later.